In our constant conversation about generations, we talk a lot about the boomers who reshaped the world. We analyze the millennials who disrupted it, and we watch, fascinated, as Gen Z redefines it in real time. But there's a quiet space in these conversations, a generational gap in our discourse. They are the unseen architects of our modern world. Your older, unflappable coworker. The friend you call when you need something fixed, not just talked about. The parent who taught you how to be independent, mostly by expecting you to be. They are Generation X, the so-called forgotten generation. But they aren't forgotten. They're just quiet. And their quiet isn't apathy. It's a complex psychological armor forged in a world that has largely been ignored. Today on the Psyche Way, we are going to look past the stereotypes and uncover the hidden psychological truths of Generation X. And here's what nobody tells you. Their fierce independence, their pragmatic cynicism, and their quiet competence aren't personality quirks. They are logical, predictable outcomes of a shared childhood that fundamentally rewired their relationship with the world. To understand Gen X, you have to start in a quiet house, in the space between the front door closing at 7 a.m. and opening again after 5 p.m. This is the Latchkey Kid. For millions, childhood was not an experience of constant parental supervision, but of radical autonomy. You let yourself in. You made your own snack. You did your homework, or you faced the consequences tomorrow. The television wasn't just entertainment. It was a third parent, a background hum in an otherwise silent home. This experience, repeated daily, became the foundational psychological programming. It taught a lesson so deep, it became instinct. You are on your own. You are responsible for you. This wasn't born from trauma, necessarily, but from simple, unarguable fact. It was the birth of radical self-reliance. This environment of independence created what psychologists call a high contingency environment. What does that mean? It means cause and effect were immediate, direct, and non-negotiable. If you forgot your lunch, you were hungry. If you missed the bus, you walked. There was no one to call to bring you your homework. There was no emotional negotiation or discussion about your feelings regarding the rule. The consequence was the teacher. This reality, devoid of emotional buffers, trained them to be intensely pragmatic and forward-thinking. They learned to anticipate problems, to pack a backup, to think 3 steps ahead, not because they were anxious, but because they knew no one else would. This isn't pessimism. It's just efficient, real-world physics. And this realism extended beyond the home. Generation X were the children who watched the idealistic promises made to their parents crumble. They saw that a job for life wasn't a guarantee. They witnessed divorce rates skyrocket, dismantling the notion of a storybook family. They saw institutions fail the people who trusted them most. In response, they developed a powerful psychological coping mechanism: defensive pessimism. This is often mistaken for cynicism or negativity, but it's far more strategic. Defensive pessimism is the act of considering the worst-case scenario first, not to wallow in it, but to mentally prepare and build a plan to navigate it. You weren't being negative by assuming the project would hit a snag. You were being realistic. It was an armor against the kind of crushing disappointment they saw their parents endure. That childhood autonomy also explains their curious relationship with the spotlight. When you're a kid without supervision, being noticed by an adult is rarely a good thing. It usually means you've done something wrong. Privacy meant safety. Invisibility meant freedom. So when you look at their relative absence from the high-performance, constant broadcast culture of social media, it's not because they're tech illiterate. This is the generation that pioneered the digital world. No, it's a deeply ingrained instinct. Why would you voluntarily place yourself under a spotlight when you've learned your entire life that the safest place to be is just outside of it? This brings us to their language, a native fluency in irony and sarcasm. To an outsider, it can feel distant or detached, but it was a shield, forged in the face of absurdity. And this was the generation that practiced hiding under their desks to survive a nuclear blast. They grew up on a diet of existential threat, mixed with Saturday morning cartoons. When the world presents you with such profound absurdity, unfiltered sincerity can feel naive. Irony became the only sane way to process an insane world. It's a way of saying, I see how ridiculous this is, and by acknowledging it, I can't be broken by it. And nowhere are these psychological traits more visible than in their approach to work. Gen X is often misunderstood here. They are not blindly loyal to companies. They saw that didn't work out for their parents. Their loyalty is to something they can control, their own competence. They work hard not to please a boss, but to be undeniable, to be so good at what they do that they become essential. It's the ultimate expression of their self-reliant, defensive pessimism. And this is the absolute core of their professional psychology. They can't control whether they'll get laid off, but they can control whether they are the most valuable person in the room when layoffs happen. Competence is their currency. It's their security. It's the one thing that can't be taken away from them by a fickle economy or a bad manager. This fierce independence creates a fascinating paradox. A member of Gen X will rarely, if ever, ask for help. Asking for help feels like a failure of their core programming, a failure to be self-sufficient. But that same person will be the first one to show up when you need help. They won't ask a lot of questions. They'll just arrive with a casserole, a toolbox, or a practical solution. They quietly offer the kind of reliable, no-strings-attached support they never expected for themselves. This deep respect for tangible skill leads to a healthy skepticism of authority. It's not about being insubordinate. It's about valuing proof over position. Their mindset is, I don't care what your title is. I care if you know what you're talking about. They witnessed incompetent leadership lead to real-world failures. So, they give their respect not to a suit or a corner office, but to the person who has clearly done the work, mastered the craft, and can demonstrate their competence. Finally, you cannot understand this generation without acknowledging the repeating pattern of economic trauma. They entered the workforce during recessions. They built savings only to see it decimated by the dot-com bust. They bought homes right before the 2008 crisis. These weren't abstract news events. They were personal financial body blows. This history explains their intense financial pragmatism. The side hustle isn't a trendy choice. It's a necessary diversification of risk. The quiet saving, the aversion to flashy spending. It's the behavior of someone who knows the floor can drop out at any moment and has learned that the only safety net is the one you build yourself. Now, it's important here on the PSYCHE Way that we see the whole picture. This profound independence has a shadow side. The very same self-reliance that makes them so capable can also become a cage. The inability to ask for help, to show vulnerability, can lead to quiet burnout, anxiety, and a profound sense of isolation. When your entire identity is built on not needing anyone, it can feel almost impossible to admit when you do. This is the price paid for that armor of competence, a difficulty in receiving the very care they so freely give to others. And if you feel this, it's not a personal failing. It's the echo of a lesson learned too well. There is one final piece to this puzzle, and it has to do with information itself. Before the internet, answers were not instant. Gen X had to go to the library. They used encyclopedias. They learned through trial, error, and effort. This slower, more arduous process of acquiring knowledge creates what is known as deeper encoding in the brain. The effort itself makes the knowledge stick. This experience bred in them a deep respect for earned knowledge over instant opinion. It's a quiet frustration with a world where a hot take is given the same weight as a deeply researched conclusion. So when you put all these pieces together, what do you see? You see the bridge generation. Gen X is the last generation to remember the world before the internet, and the first to build the digital world we now inhabit. They are the translators between the analog past and the digital future. Their psychology, that pragmatic, independent, competence-driven mindset, was perfectly suited for this task. It required them to just put their heads down and do the work, to build the code, manage the teams, and create the systems that run our modern world, all without a need for applause or recognition. Their legacy is not a loud revolution. It is the quiet, stable infrastructure you stand on every day. They are the ones holding things together. And the final irony is that their defining characteristic is their lack of need for a video like this one to even exist. They don't need the validation. They know their own value. They learned a long time ago, alone in that quiet house, that competence is its own reward. We invite you to subscribe to the Psyche Way. Our channel is a space for these kinds of explorations into the why behind our thoughts and feelings. Let us know in the comments what part of this story felt most true for you. And if you'd like to support our work more directly and join our community of introspective achievers, you can learn more about channel memberships by clicking the Join button below. Thank you for spending your time with us.